It's summertime. It's 100 degrees outside. And so I've been kind of wondering, like, what's the best summer music to listen to? Especially, like, as a metalhead. I don't know. So let's talk about it. And, I don't know, play mermaids? It's the summertime, and that means it's time to get some perfect sunny time nostalgic tunes to listen to while you're getting drunk at the lake. And the more I thought about it, the more I wondered what the perfect summertime playlist would be, especially for somebody like me who has a little bit of the metal persuasion within their music taste. Now, the more I contemplated it and the more I pondered and the more I really thought about what made the perfect metal playlist for the summertime lake, like your typical weekend out in sunny California, I just kept going back to nu metal. This probably has to do something with my age and the fact that it was Y2K nu metal coming out as I was growing up throughout that phase of metal history, I suppose, and therefore that music is very nostalgic to me, or it was the preference of most metalheads within that Y2K era, hence why my parents listened to it and then I listened to it. All kind of feeding back into that sense of nostalgia because it was better when we were kids. Typically with videos like these, I try to have at least some kind of structure and maybe even a playlist made out of what my favorite bands were within that era. However, I can't be shitted, so we're just gonna talk about vibes. And while I do have to give some honorable mentions to genres like hair metal and then just your classic rock music, you know, nu metal just is that recirculating, resurfacing, consistent summertime bop that I keep thinking about. Whether it be Korn serenading us in the early 2000s with baggy pants and that weird smelling Hot Topic, or a band like Limp Bizkitting everywhere and me thinking about the ravioli ad. While bands like Static X are a bit heavier, still truly remind me of going out or driving out to the lake sitting in my dad's truck. But there is something to be said about the kind of wackier, almost Spy Kids-esque genres that we got within the nu metal genre, like Powerman 5000. I mean, that band was pretty wacky and I really like them. Powerman 5000 is one of those bands that I don't know how to describe other than they ring to me on the same level that the Spy Kids movies do. There's just something about the way that the artists present themselves within the band. That, and I've also seen them play live, and I don't know, something about that Y2K spiky hair just rings true with Shark Boy. It's not just Static X or Limp Bizkit or Korn, it's bands like Deftones, it's bands like System of a Down, it's bands like The Offspring and even Papa Roach that are just so synonymous with that almost summertime nostalgia that I'm constantly trying to reach and find in the mornings as I'm driving to my job. The kind of music that almost reminds you that would be emanating from a Honda Civic that would drive past and your grandma would mumble something about dirtbags. I keep falling back to this sense of nostalgia being directly tied to the genre of nu metal, therefore making it my summertime playlist. I don't know if that's more of a summertime sadness type beat or if it's just like that golden haze that we have over our childhood memories that makes something like nu metal, at least for me, so nostalgic and so good for those summertime drives as you're getting ready to go camping or you're getting ready to go to the lake or you're getting ready to drive to your job at the office where you're going to sit in your chair all day and stare out the window and realize that summer is passing you by the minute. It's also very hard to define what would make a genre or at least even an album from a band a summertime song, because they can be so across the board for everything. Is it just wacky and upbeat? Because, you know, if you guys have watched my other videos, you know that I am a girly for some dark ambient music. And dark ambient music still hits when the sun is nice and shiny. Just to a different level. It's like I totally came into this. No, I actually have an explanation. This is why nu metal is the best genre of music to listen to in the summertime. Hollywood Undead. Now, hear me out for a second, because some of you will go,
oh, they're not actually a metal band. Bro, just plot armor for a second. Bands like Hollywood Undead, that fusion of rap and metal, was so popular within the early 2000s because it was a fusion of two incredibly popular genres mixing together to make something completely new. It's akin to those 2010s, early 2000s party bops because it has that added energy from the rap genre mixed in throughout it. Bands like Linkin Park are an incredible example of this by making a fusion of rap music and nu metal, or metalcore technically, to make nu metal. And while some albums of nu metal can get deep and emotional and philosophical, if that's even possible within that genre, there's also just a certain vibe to it that doesn't require a lot of brain cells, therefore making it fun, obtainable, understandable, and vibable. There's just a certain amount of TV static that's playing in your head when Break Stuff by Limp Bizkit comes on, and that is the vibe that I'm trying to emulate here as to why that genre or that specific subsect of nu metal is so good for summertime. Yes, it does have to do with childhood nostalgia and the fact that I'm clinging to the things that I associated with the most in my childhood angst, but being able to listen to Linkin Park and scream crawling in my skin on a road trip has never felt more cathartic than it does now, enjoying the things that I've enjoyed in the past. In similar seasons, you know, the more things change, the more they stay the same. I don't know, there's something comforting about it. And also, it's cheaper than therapy. Not only that, but, you know, nu metal, metal music in general, music festivals. We associate going to music festivals with the sunnier and warmer times of year, so of course, popular genres like nu metal are going to be more present in festivals, and therefore we're going to associate festivals with the genres we see at them, and then the seasons that they occur in. I do feel pretty confident that genres like nu metal do dominate the festival circuit, specifically within America at least, just because that genre is so much more, not palatable, but just so much more popular and adjacent to mainstream music. Not only that, it's just a vibe. And I don't know how to explain that other than nu metal doesn't really take itself too seriously in comparison to other genres like doom metal or ambient metal or death metal or really any of the other metals. Nu metal kind of memes itself, and it's refreshing in the sense that you don't really have elitist nu metal fans. Not true, but I feel like there's a little bit more humility within the really strong nu metal fan base in comparison to the outright elitism you see in the deathcore, death metal, black metal, all of the heavier, more extreme genres of metal. Nu metal's just kind of there, and everybody hates it and makes fun of it, and so everybody who genuinely likes nu metal tends to be pretty chill. But let me know, do you think the genre nu metal is the best summertime genre to emulate what metalheads want to listen to, or do you have another genre in mind? I want to hear what either your favorite nu metal album is to listen to in the summer, or what genre you think better exemplifies or embodies, I guess, metal music or metalheads in the summertime. As always, if you enjoyed my content, make sure to subscribe and watch out for the next video if I decide to make it in a timely manner. And enjoy the unstructured, poorly edited video as I try to force myself back into making content. Bye!